You show an Indian mom that you can make food and feed your son and fatten him up? Oh.
Hi there. I'm newly engaged to a Gujarati man. Good luck.
But I have had to be patient in my time with Hallie Patel. Want to get right into the first question, everybody. I am Christian. The name not Christian. The religion Christian. I am Christian. Why this Indian man?
Oh, man. Woo. This week on Half Past Joe, we are doing everybody's favorite segment, okay? And guess what that is? Questions of the week. All right, we've scoured our website and our DMs. Really, that's it. I was going to say more, but we've scoured those things and we've collected the best of the best questions for you guys this week. On that note, please be sure to submit all your other questions in the future to www.halfpastjaw.com. And let's get into this Half Past crew.
Welcome to
Half Past Jaw.
Everybody, I am so excited for you all to be joining another episode of Half Past Jaw. We are your hosts. My name is Suketu.
My name is Hallie.
And I am Indian.
And I'm super duper white.
Yeah, if you can't already tell, if you're watching the video, you'd already know that. But if you're not, now you know. We're an interracial couple, okay? We talk about being an interracial couple, but we also get questions from you guys because you guys go to www.halfpastjaw.com because that is where you submit all those questions that you have. And guess what? This episode is all about you. We're answering all your questions. So settle in, please get cozy. But before you do that, you gotta hit the like button. You gotta subscribe if you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you follow the podcast because it helps. It helps a lot. And then give us 5 stars because then it tells everybody that we're good.
And I need that validation.
Yeah, we really do.
We both do. We're seeking it from everybody here.
We release new podcast episodes every day at 7 a.m. Every Monday at 7 a.m. It'd be nice if we could do this every day.
I wish.
But
Let's quit our jobs now.
Every Monday at 7 a.m., everybody. So settle in, get cozy, grab your cha, and let's get into it.
Pretty sure you already said the settle and get cozy, but they can hear it twice.
No, I said before you settle in.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone, hello. Hi. Happy Monday. Thank you for choosing to spend your Monday with us. It means the world to us, truly. And I just want you to know.
Memorial Day.
Oh, it is. Oh, happy Memorial Day. So you don't have work, so today's even better. You're welcome. We're just blessing your Monday even more. Did you hear that? Come a little closer. This episode is all about you.
I'm here.
I'm here too.
I'm excited.
Are we doing ASMR now?
We're doing ASMR now. Guess what? It's time for questions of the week.
That is this whole episode.
Yeah.
Can you even hear me?
Yeah,
that's this whole episode. Before we get into it, I'm not even gonna lie. My stomach is a little on fire.
We just ate some Indian food right before recording this, and it was on the spicier side. So if you hear or smell anything, it's not me.
How would anybody be able to smell anything? No, wait. I would be able. Oh God.
Well, we're recording this in 4D, so through your speakers, you will be getting smells and sensations that you might not otherwise. It's going to be a great day, okay?
Happy Memorial Day. I don't like that I'm sitting right here because I'm in the direct line of fire.
Be careful if you're wearing AirPods. It will come out of AirPods. Anyways, want to get right into the first question, everybody. This was submitted. I am Christian. The name not Christian. The religion Christian. I am Christian. I'm in love with a Hindu. My family are not accepting of it. And done every level of guilt trip possible. I've heard every version of advice from people in my life from different walks and perspectives. It boils down to, I want to be with him. But I cannot live my life happily with the nonstop guilt trip and sadness I'm causing my family. It's like a lose-lose situation.
Your family being mad about this is not your problem. I'm sorry. I'm laughing still at the first thing you said. I'm going to be serious now. Listen. You cannot feel guilty in your life for loving who you love. Okay? I said it. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Do not feel guilty about that.
This is interesting because the other side, right? This is like, usually it's like the Indian parents who are like, heck no, I don't think this is happening. And then they like guilt trip you, be like, I'm leaving you. I'm going to disown you. I'm never talking to you again. I'm going back to India, whatever, those things. But this is different. I'm very surprised because, I get it on a certain point why they might say that, but still very surprised.
Yeah. It's not often I feel like you see it flip-flopped. At least in our situation, it was flip-flopped from this current situation that's being described. But I guess it seems like your family is really religious maybe, and they just really... My biggest piece of advice here is get your family to get to know your significant other, and maybe you can have a couple conversations. I think the biggest thing, I can speak to our situation, is that I got to know the people in your family, and it's like, you can think all you want about somebody, but then when you meet them and actually find out that, most of the time they're a really good person, then all those negative ideas and thoughts and projections onto you go away.
And just know you're not alone, okay? So I'm going to read you 3 other questions that relate exactly to you, okay? This is not just 3. I have probably 7, 8, 9, 10 more of these, okay? We just weren't able to fit into this episode. So this question is still related to what you're saying. It's not trying to be rude, just curious. How did you end up falling in love with each other instead of choosing someone from your own race? And how did you manage to stay in love despite your family's cultural/religious differences? Exactly what you're going through. You have religious differences from your significant other, and your families are also different. So because of that, it's an unknown territory, right? Like it's not comfortable. It's not what you're used to. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But those are the things to fight for. Those are the best kinds of relationships. I know we went through that exact altercation, but the thing is, I never, ever was like, this is going to be a problem. Never.
I think there were times that we talked a long time ago where we were like, okay, this is going to be tricky to navigate, but it wasn't ever a reason that I'm like, oh, guess we're breaking up. Like, obviously we knew what we were getting into when we started dating, and we both, this might sound crazy, at a young age had intent to marry, as I didn't want to date around. I really just kind of wanted one person my whole life, and that's exactly what we both did. And so it was definitely a topic of conversation. I'm not going to sit here and act like we didn't ever face hardships or talk about it or think that it was an obstacle, because it was, because we didn't understand and we didn't know how to overcome it. But it was just something that we kept talking about, and every time we talked about it, we got more open-minded about it, because we realized we love each other. I'm here to understand for you. You're here to understand for me. Like, I'll go do this with you. You go to church with me. I'll go to temple with you. We'll do these religious holidays. Like, we make it work.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to have those conversations. I think people are so avoidant nowadays, where it's like, let's just not talk about it and push it back till
and hope that it goes away. We did that. We did it. We were younger, but we were earlier on in our relationship too.
I was always the person who would bring it up, be like, hey, we need to talk about this. And then that's when, like, we would have those talks where, it wasn't the best situation. Like, one of us would start crying or something like that. It's always going to be hard.
Oh my God, how is this going to work? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that. And that's very realistic. That's what I would say majority of people do.
And it's going to happen. But I think if you can get out of that, if you can talk it through and figure out a plan, it won't be as difficult. In terms of family, like, I know you went back to the whole family thing from the first question. It's your life. You will decide the fate of your life. It's not your family's choice on who you get to marry. And I'll say it over and over again.
And I will say those kind of go hand in hand too. Once you're able to have those difficult conversations with your partner, you're more likely going to be able to have the ability to have those conversations with your family too. That, hey, look, this isn't your business. This is my business. I understand that, I'm your son, daughter, whoever, but I'm going to do ultimately what I want to do. And I don't need your input on my love life. I get it's important that, we're all supportive here of each other. And I would hope that your parents are receptive, or your family is receptive, just that you're trying to openly talk about how you feel. And the person that you want to end up with. And they, again, to me, they shouldn't have a say in that. I don't think that's fair. I think they brought you into this world for you to be able to make your own decisions and not to just follow them, which, I mean, there are some parents out there, I'm not even going to lie. There are some parents that want control over every one of their child's decisions, even as they turn into an adult. So I'd also be curious to know, like, the age range that you guys are, you and your significant other. So choking on that spicy food. If you see me burping or like coughing, that's why we have cha right here, because we need something to wash down the spice. Regardless, though, of the age that you are, if you're old enough to be dating somebody and thinking about marriage with that person, then your parents, to me, don't have a say in your love life.
Yep, I agree. These next two relate to the exact same thing. I want to say them out loud because you're not the only one, okay? You guys are super cute, very inspiring, so keep going. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for you guys. I'm in a similar boat, being Indian, liking a white girl, but there's a roadblock on religion. How did you work through it? Hallie being Christian and you being Hindu. So
that's the question, isn't it?
That's the question of the day, apparently. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten this exact same question. Next one. I'm a sophomore at Ohio State University. And I came across you and your husband's videos and noticed that you are an interracial couple. I am Hispanic. My girlfriend is Gujarati. We have been together for 2 years, but her family has gotten involved and is forcing the relationship to end due to me not being Indian. I was curious to see if you and your husband face these struggles and how did you overcome them? I know this is not a magical solution. I know there's not a magical solution, but hearing others' experiences who have been through it would help. Thank you. See, you are not the only one. Every single interracial couple, I feel like, will go through something like this, unless they're the same religion and same race. Wait, that's not an interracial couple. So
that's not an interracial couple then. Most of the time. Yeah, no, not most of the time. All the time. What?
You will always kind of run into this situation, and it's something you need to work through with your significant other, because it's not going to be an easy solution. It's not going to be your parents magically saying, "Oh my God, we approve you be together, of course.
We love you and accept you."
This makes so much sense. If you love each other, then be together. Duh. That's not going to happen.
Majority of the time, though.
If they say that they do not agree with your current relationship, they're not just going to magically wake up one day and be like, "Oh yeah, no, I agree."
It takes work.
And so that's where you kind of have to go into showing how you care about each other to your parents, showing that even though that you guys are different religions, you will make it work. And if the topic of discussion that usually comes up is conversion, like converting into a different religion. Now, I don't condone this because
if it's of your own free will, then by all means. Yeah. But if you're being coerced into it by the opposite family, then that's a big no-no.
When it comes to trying to convert to a new religion, first of all, if you're into it and you want to do it, yes, that's fine. But when it comes to you kind of being told to do it,
or by doing it because you think you'll win the family over, then
that is not the way to do it. Religion is all about what you believe in. It's an individual relationship. And I don't think people understand that sometimes.
Sometimes they just see the bigger picture. Well, if I, for example, if I convert to Hinduism, maybe I'll be more accepted in the Indian community.
And I would never want something like that. Like, that is not the way to do it. The thing that boggles my mind is somebody who grew up one way, right? They grew up as a Hindu. They grew up as a Christian. How could you tell them what they've known their whole life and just switch it up into something completely different? I don't know. I just feel like that's wrong.
Like, oh, actually, everything you believe in is wrong, and then my religion is right. So you have to convert to what I am for everybody to accept you.
Yeah.
And for us to be able to get married.
That's crazy. This situation, I'm sure, happens way more than we could even imagine. And that, to me, is very sad.
But the best way overall, wouldn't you say, to tackle this is you have to be in a united front with your significant other.
Yeah.
You can't go into this situation lightly. You have to know that it's going to be difficult. One, which obviously from all these questions, they see that. You have to, if you love the person enough to where you're ready to go to war, that's dramatic, but like ready to prove to everyone that you guys want to be together and that you're going to be together. If that's what you want, then make it happen. But you have to be united front, and behind the scenes, you have to be so open in your communication with each other that you know exactly how that person is feeling, know how you can support them, know how they can support you. Just you have to really be on the same page, because for us it was a really tough time.
Yeah.
Like we really struggled.
And I would say we came out on the lucky side of things.
Yeah.
In terms of just being persistent with our own beliefs, but also talking to each other and kind of learning from each other.
Yeah, and we came out stronger, I think, too. I mean, we did have a brief breakup period, but it didn't last long. It lasted like maybe a week.
4 days, I would say.
Oh, not even a week. Okay.
And even during that time, we kept our Snapchat streak going.
Yeah, we did. We have one of the longest streaks to this day.
Yes.
Because of that. But even it was like pictures of the walls and like my bedroom and like not my face. But my point is, you have to act as a united front. You have to be very open-minded, open in your communication. You have to continue to love each other, even though things are going to get hard. And that goes for any hard situation, not just this specific situation. But being able to do that, and if if things do work out for you, that's amazing, and that's the goal. That's what you want. Yeah. But if the family is like, no, actually, like, don't support you, then at the end of the day, you can't take that to heart, because that's their problem, not yours.
Exactly. So, Hallie, there's another question for you that's kind of related to this topic, and I want you to read it.
Oh, you want me to read it? All right. Let me get my voice ready. Hey guys, I have a question for Hallie. What motivated you to stick with Suketu and choose him as the one, despite encountering numerous misunderstandings or immature situations? You shared how he made you jealous without reason. I did do that. I did share that. You did do that. Don't get me wrong, you guys are both amazing. Just curious how Hallie navigated cultural differences and overcame jealousy. What kept you confident that I want to marry this guy? Additionally, how do you manage conflicts? Hallie seems like a super understanding and supportive person, but don't you ever feel like, who will understand me in a difficult situation? Or what is your advice to people to manage dramatic partners? Thank you guys. Love you. That's a fantastic question. Thank you for the love in that. I think we could break it down by each piece. So the first one, what kept you confident in knowing that you wanted to marry this guy?
Yeah,
question.
Why me, Hallie?
I mean, we did like a whole episode on this, did we
Why
not?
this Indian man?
Oh, man. Whoo, you're putting me on the spot today. A lot of reasons. I mean, one, given the questions that we just answered, going through a situation like that with somebody, you feel so bonded to them, right? And I will say from day one, when we first started hanging out, we were just we hit it off instantly. I feel like we've always had chemistry. We've always been best friends. We've always wanted to do everything together and spend every second of our time together. And we're still that way. I mean, hence we do this podcast, and we literally do everybody who knows us knows that we do everything together. And that's just how it is. And
something that Hallie doesn't want to admit, she likes conflict. And I bring a lot of conflict into this relationship. And it's because I like to talk about things. I like to argue.
Like to talk. Yeah.
I like to argue. I like to figure out, I never will just accept what's in front of me.
I mean, that's good that you question things in your life. And you don't just accept, you don't just go with the flow.
And Hallie thinks she doesn't like it. But
why do tell me about myself.
But I know she does deep down, because it makes life interesting. Okay. I think it's that. When you're reading a book, when you're watching a movie, you have conflict, and that conflict needs to be resolved, right? We're living a movie. We're living in a movie. We're living in a book. We are creating conflict in resolutions.
All right. I just want to specify. I think there's good conflict, and I think there's bad conflict. Bad conflict is the dumb stuff that you like to bring up for no reason at all and just start drama with me to, I don't know, you get bored or something.
Yeah, it's toxic.
Yeah. Why do you think you're toxic?
Because I think I
Do tell.
I think I need to feel something sometimes.
Sometimes you just want to feel something. I get that. That's why I drink really strong coffee. I was just talking to my mom about that. She was like, why do you drink this? It's terrible. I don't know that she understood what I said, but I said, I just want to feel something sometimes. But anyways, that's bad conflict. Bad conflict is when you start stupid arguments about money and blah, blah, blah. Hallie, I'm jealous. Blah, 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 blah. Like stupid stuff like that. See, again, with the jealousy thing, you're 26, almost 27, and you're still acting like a child sometimes. But that's besides the point. I love you. We both do it. It's okay. Good conflict is when, in my mind, and this is a skill, arguing is a skill. This is something that I learned as we got further on in our relationship, as we came back after we broke up. Because the first go around of us dating, we dated for like 10 months, then we broke up. First go around, I would just let things slide. I used to be so nonchalant. Like you would say something or do something or be mean to me, or like we'd have an argument and I'd just be like, it's okay, you're right, I'm sorry. And like simping, literally.
It was great.
Yeah. And then I decided to get some courage after we broke up. And now I don't let anything fly because, one, I'm comfortable enough to talk to you about it and that we can have a rational conversation about it. And to me, that's good conflict when there's a good outcome from it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Like we're coming to a solution and we're resolving something that's broken in our relationship. Like say you... I don't know. You said something mean to me. Oh, there was that time I thought you shut the bath.
Oh my
like
God.
you shut me in the bathroom because you seemed. I told you that I told you that your breath smelled bad, and I went to go to the bathroom to blow my nose. So I was blowing my nose, and you like came and slammed the bathroom door shut.
I was
and
trying
I was
to get
like,
by.
Hello. I was so mad. I'm like, that was just last night or night before.
See, it's just miscommunication like that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's an example. I was like, that hurt my feelings that you did that. So what's going on? And you're like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Like, I don't like that you told me my breath stinks, but like it did. You didn't drink enough water, clearly. So we talked about that. We came to a resolution and we're fine now. Perfect example of good conflict. Bad conflict, bad. Good conflict, good. So I think, how did we even get?
I have no idea. Conclusion to what?
I want to marry you because you challenge me.
Exactly.
And that's a good thing. You've
That's a
made
good
me
thing.
into a better person.
Yeah, I agree.
Have I made you into like,
You have.
Can you give me a compliment?
My God, I have to be, my patience levels have risen and they're not even close to being to the top, but I have had to be patient in my time with Hallie Patel. Everybody, it's been a road. It's been a journey.
You think your patience mine has grown exponentially.
That is something.
You test me every single day. See, that's the thing. You want somebody that pushes you, that challenges you, that is not just like you. And that's the thing. That's the other thing. It's you are
pretty opposite.
very, I mean, we're similar in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways, we're vastly different. And so that's another thing that I was like, oh, this guy, I mean, obviously, yes, you're not white, so that's cool. You're not like every basic white guy.
That's a drastic difference for sure.
We were born in two completely different places in the world. You're very different than me, and you challenge me, and I think that's a beautiful thing in a relationship.
At the end of the day, how to handle dramatic partners, be patient.
Yeah.
That's the only advice I have, because Hallie being dramatic is just very, very, she's got to get over it, sometimes.
You're the more dramatic one in the relationship. Absolutely. I'm really, I'm not even just saying this. I think everybody that knows me would say it. I'm a lot more chilled out than you.
I agree. Next question is for me, Suketu. Mainly, I know that the people of the Christian faith usually say a prayer of some sort before eating. And when you're eating with Hallie's family, have you found it awkward for people like us, like Hindus, who don't really say a prayer? The prayer itself is a really good thing. It is essential. Food is essential unit of survival from God, and there no hate there. I just wanted to know. Love your pod. Thank you for asking this question. I have felt this for the longest time of like, is this kind of awkward that I'm here right now? I don't know what to do. I don't know how I feel. And I've been in this situation my whole life pretty much, going over to a friend's house, and I started eating before the prayer happened and they were like, hey, we got to wait till the prayer is done. And then I was like, oh, okay. And so like, even before Hallie, like I knew what this was. So, you know, bowing your head down, just waiting till everybody sits at the table, the prayer is done, and then you can eat. It's, for me, it's always been like, okay, we're here, we're blessing the food. There's nothing really awkward about it, right? They're praying to God. They're saying, hey, please bless my food and bless everybody that is eating this food for good health and all this stuff. And at the end of the day, we do the same. Like I'm saying, they do the same thing, right? Before, like when you're at a temple and people bring barsad, they bring it and they put it by God, and then all that food is later served to you after the prayer and everything is done. It's the same thing, right? It's the same deal that's going on. And all I have to say is like, especially like when that is happening, it's just, I think out of respect to just do what they're doing. You don't have to like say anything. You don't have to do anything there. Like that's just, you kind of are there. They're doing a prayer. And I totally get it. Cause I know a lot of people have been in this situation. I know just having friends of different religions, you've been in this situation. I'm just glad this question's asked. I'm glad that I'm not the only one who has thought this, right? But yeah, I don't think it's awkward after the first few times it happens. When it initially happens, it's going to be like, this is kind of feel like I'm out of place, but you're not. You're always welcome anywhere there's food.
And I can even say from my perspective too, I know this question was for you, but for me, going to different functions where religious traditions happen, it does feel awkward in the sense that, like you were saying, you don't know what to do. It's like, okay, I'm just going to watch other people and see what they do, and then I'm just going to do what they do. And again, it's more out of respect. Like, obviously we're our own different religions, but I respect every cultural practice that you have in your religion. And so I'm going to do it. And obviously to honor you, to honor your family, it makes sense. Like, why would I not do it? If I didn't do it and I just sat in the corner and I was like, I'm not going to do it. Like, there are people like that. And that blows my mind to me. Like, how if you love your partner, can you not be supportive of them and what they believe in? Yeah,
I think it's just, when you go through the first few times, you'll start to learn. But it's good to have this discussion. It's good to know that you need to, like, you're not the only one that feels awkward about it. It's always going to feel a little awkward when it's not what you're used to, right?
Yeah. And again, it's all about having the conversation. And you can have harder, tougher, more difficult conversations with somebody in a respectful way. Like, you're not trying to disrespect them by asking questions or being like, oh, like, I've never done this before. You know, like, you can be open and talk about these things. I think that's the whole gist of this episode, is that it's okay to have harder conversations, but you can be respectful, and that's okay. And you can learn a lot from it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hallie, this next question is all for you.
Hi there. I'm newly engaged to a Gujarati man. Good luck.
Hey now.
They're crazy. He is one of 4. Being the only son. Wow.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm one of 4.
Being the only son and has a pretty strong support system of women. What is the best way I can strengthen my relationship with his mother, my future mother-in-law? English is not her first language and she's retired. However, I want her to see me more for who I am and how much I love her son. Great question. Wow. It's like I'm looking in a mirror. That's crazy. Wow. Congratulations on being newly engaged. That's amazing. I will say, if you're wanting to show how much you love her son, just, you know, I think one of the biggest things that I did was show that I love to cook, and I love to cook for you. And so, you know, when you're cooking for somebody, you're feeding them, you're providing for them. So that's a way that you can show that you're providing for her son and that you love him as well.
You show an Indian mom that you can make food and feed your son and fatten him up. Oh, she's going to fall in love with you. Okay, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, like forget about you.
Yeah, forget me.
Yeah. Whenever we hang out, like whenever I hang out with your mom, she just forgets about you, and she loves to just hate on you. And her and I just gossip, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. Because eventually, over time, you know, you're a woman, she's a woman. Like, you'll develop that woman-to-woman connection. All right, and especially she's going to be your future mother-in-law. Like, that's huge. So, and obviously, you both love, like, she loves her son, you love her son. Like, you guys already have that in common. So like, there's so much more. And I will say, so the food thing, just being.
I was gonna say the language barrier. She said it's not her first language.
Yeah, I would say like, ask your fiance, what are some things that I can say to make her feel welcome, or like that I can say to her as I'm introducing myself to her, greeting her, like giving her a hug, like ask him. And if you show up and just like, he's Gujarati, like you say, Kem cho, Jai Shri Krishna, like if you say those things, she'll be like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Like, and showing that you care enough to be respectful. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I agree. That's a huge thing to just acknowledge your surroundings, right? Know your audience.
Yeah, know your audience. Oh my gosh. And if she cooks for you, like I'm sure her food is delicious. Like food is a big thing. Food is a big love language for so many people. It's such a thing that you can bond over. So obviously show that you can provide for her son, that you take care of him, that you love him. The language thing, like if you want to like, say hi, or like just nice things, or like even start learning small phrases in Gujarati, like I think that would be really special. Ask him, maybe like you guys, he can kind of be the translator. I don't know how good her English is, but like ask questions about her, try and get to know her, get to know where she grew up and what that environment was like and her family structure. And I think overall, just that's just in general, if you talk to somebody and you care, if you genuinely care and you're a good listener and you just want to get to know who they are as a person, that deepens the relationship so much right there.
100%. That's the best way to do it. One last thing with the mother-in-law, just be interested in what is happening around. Like if there's like a family function, be interested in the family function, like be as involved as you can. I think those are always good things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if there's any kind of like event coming up where you would need like an Indian dress or clothing, maybe you could go shopping together. That would be a really fun bonding experience.
Those are some really good tips, Hallie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the last questions that we have is something that I struggled with, okay? Hey, how did you fall in love with an Indian guy? I myself am Indian, but no non-Indians fall for me. Now, I say that this happened to me because from grades 1 through 10, I did not experience any woman at all interested in me, okay? It didn't matter what race they were.
I mean, I experienced the same thing, so I think we're kind of perfect for each other.
When it comes to falling in love, this has nothing to do with Indian, white, black, nothing, okay? This is all about who is right in front of you, who the person is that is in front of you. Are you attracted to them? Do you like their personality? Do you like the way they talk? Do you like the things they do? Like what is making you like this other person? And do they reciprocate the same feelings for you? That is not easy. That is a 1 in a billion opportunity, 1 in a 7 billion opportunity, okay? Mm-hmm. So I can't give you any advice on this besides the fact that be yourself, and whenever that next person does come, they will be the right person for you, right? Like that person will come eventually. It's just you do have to put yourself out there. You can't just,
expect good things to come your way. Exactly. I mean, but I will say again, I feel like most relationships happen when you're not looking for it, right? Like you and I were not looking for anything, but in the sense we did still put ourselves out there because we both, obviously we met and we continued our friendship and we continued to hang out. So we were still putting ourselves out there and hanging out with each other and getting to know each other. However, I wasn't going on dating apps and trying to find somebody there. I mean, they weren't really a thing. They were like just starting to be a thing when we got together. So that's a thing in itself. And I've said this before on previous episodes, but I wasn't like, I didn't have a type. I don't think I have a type still. I just care most what's in someone's personality. I mean, maybe that's a type, call it what you want. But I wasn't seeking out, I'm gonna and some people do have types, but I wasn't specifically looking for anybody of any different race or ethnic. Like I didn't care, right? Like I just wanted somebody that I vibed with, somebody who could make me laugh, somebody who was kind and sweet and smart. And I had certain things I was looking for, but it didn't physically come from a type.
Yeah.
If somebody happened to have those qualities, I'd be down. That would have been great. I mean, so I wasn't when we first met, I thought you were a good looking guy. I thought you were really attractive, but I didn't really know where that would take us, I didn't know you that well yet, but I did notice you were attractive. I honestly
thank you.
Well, I'm just thinking too, it's different now where we went to school, but we didn't have a huge Indian population. So you and a few Ronak, he's been on the podcast before. He was my first friend, probably my first Indian friend.
Wow.
Because we just didn't have honestly, it's majority white school. So we didn't have a lot of Indian population, I would say.
It was not very, there was not that many Indians around. And in that, I used to meet a lot of Indians at the temple. I used to meet them at Garba. And that's where I started to really understand where everybody was. And they were definitely not where we grew up. But
different now, but when we were in grade school and even high school, it started to change, but middle school even. I mean, I feel like you and Ronak became friends because you're we're the only two Indian boys here.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things you should be yourself. Don't try and be white. Okay. This is I'm talking about.
Please
Indians.
Be yourself. Oh, just anybody. I mean, to anybody. Be yourself, because the right people will come when you are fully 100% truly yourself.
I'm speaking to Indians out there because I'm guilty of this when I was in high school. It's I tried to be not Indian to fit in, and that is not good. Okay? I learned to not do that as I transitioned out of high school and into college, where I met every freaking person I possibly could.
There was a huge international crowd at the school we went to, which was amazing.
My first ever class in college was international. It was called International Summer Bridge. So it was a summer course before you started college, and I got put into the international class. So I got to meet people from Dubai, people from Pakistan, people from Russia, people from all over Europe. And it was the coolest thing because they were truly themselves. They were so proud of who they were. And it really showed I can be myself, and that is okay. And I think it takes time to realize that, especially for a lot of Asian Americans in America. They're oh, well, I gotta do this to fit in. No, you don't. You don't need to.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I would say that's one of the biggest comments that you get online is that people are oh my gosh, you're so white. You're so whitewashed. You're such a coconut.
Yeah, I know I am sometimes. Okay. But I do truly love the fact that I'm Indian. I try and embrace my culture as much as I can. And that's why I've created a podcast called Half Past Cha. I don't say chai because that's what
chai tea.
Some other people in India call it chai, but I say cha because that is what Gujarati term to say cha.
Slay.
Okay?
So what would you say, my question to you is, what made you embrace being Indian? What was that turning point for you?
I think...
Instead of trying to be not Indian.
I think in high school, I was just trying to be cool. I was just trying to be so
does that mean reject your culture?
No, I wasn't rejecting it, but I was just trying to be everything that everybody else was. And that was just because of my need for validation.
Here we
needed to I wanted people to know who I was and all this stuff. And it was an internal conflict within myself. And that's okay. You're allowed to have flaws, okay? But as long as you learn from them, then it's okay. So I officially stopped doing that as I transitioned into college, started to meet a lot more people. Me and Hallie's relationship got a lot better. And Hallie being so interested in my culture really helped me embrace it more, just because I got to teach you things. I got to bring my family into things that I usually wouldn't. And so that was the big ones for me.
Yeah. Yeah. will say, I feel like, I mean, yeah, you got older and realized the importance. Like for example, I pulled your chain out. Like you started wearing, like you've got a chain here, you've got a chain on your wrist. Like it looks so good. That was one thing that I love that you started doing. And again, I've talked about this in a previous episode, but I love that you're from a different cultural background than me because it makes our relationship so colorful and diverse and beautiful. And we have so many things that we do that other non-interracial couples don't do. Does that make sense? Like we get to blend the both beautiful parts of each culture. And eventually when we have kids, we'll pass that down to them. And how amazing is that?
That's pretty cool.
Like I love that you've brought so much color to my world and vice versa. And it's been so cool that we've been able to learn and watch each other grow in our own ways, but also together. And so that's just a beautiful, amazing thing to me.
It's been a journey. Going back to the first few questions we answered, this is what it's all about, okay? I know it's tough. I know it's hard being criticized, being told no by every single person around you, especially the people you love. But remember, it's just you two in this journey together. And that is all you need to know to get past it.
It's you two against the world. That's and that's the mentality that you have, especially like after we got married. I remember we came home to this house for the first time. We were like, okay, it's literally us. Like I have your back, you have my back. Like I'm always going to be here for you and vice versa. And that's just the mentality that you have as you've overcome tougher obstacles pertaining to, I mean, all kinds of obstacles, right? But specifically from this episode being an interracial couple and all that you learn from it and all the respect that you start to have for that other person even more so than you already did, for sticking up for you, for vouching for you, for learning to love you even though you're different. That is so huge. And I don't think that's a bond that a lot of people understand. Like a lot of people are so confused when we say we do everything together. And I'm like, yeah, but we've had we've learned so much from each other and so much about each other through so many different obstacles in our lives. And even still, I feel like I'm learning stuff about you, but we've grown to respect each other in a different way. It's pretty amazing.
I very much so have enjoyed growing together, learning about each other, understanding how to handle conflicts, understanding how to handle difficult conversations that other people might not ever have. And I have loved starting this podcast and learning that I am not the only one. Okay. I think that's been the huge kicker for me is like, wow, there are hundreds of thousands of millions of people out there who are going through the exact same thing as me. Mm-hmm. And I need everybody to realize that. So you're not alone. You have value. You have the ability to get past it. And your parents don't control what you do.
Even though it's so hard to understand that because they're your parents, right? And you want their approval and their respect. But at the same time, your parents are adults too. You know, like they should make good decisions and treat you with respect as you are expected to treat them with respect.
Exactly. And that is all the questions we have.
Wow.
There are no more.
Wow.
That was
great.
This was a great episode because it not only helped me understand who everybody is out there and what they're going through, but it made me reflect back on a few things. So
I know that's the beauty of this podcast. I feel like I feel like we've gotten better every time we do this in how we talk to you guys and how we convey the thoughts that are going up here in our experiences, because it's a lot. It's not always easy to do that. It's not always easy to exemplify exactly what we're talking about, but it's been really helpful for us. This podcast has been really therapeutic in a lot of ways, and that's one of them. So that we've been able to really reflect on some things and talk about them and think about how we could have done them differently, but also share our experiences with people who are going through situations when versions of us when it was in the past for us, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you have other questions, please submit to www.halfpastshot.com. We've actually gotten submissions that say, hey, this is my question and this is what I want answered, but please don't share my story with anybody, okay? And that's okay. I want you guys, this is a safe space. I want anybody to be able to ask a question, even if you don't want it to be featured on this podcast. this is a forum for anyone to come to and ask questions, feel like they have an area to go and people that are like-minded. So just remember that. So if you want, submit your questions, www.halfpastjod.com. Half-Past crew, we love you. We thank you for your support and watching this episode every Monday at 7 a.m.
We got the best OG crew here, like ever, of anybody ever.
And that brings
thank you
us
for being here.
To the very end. We will see you next Monday at Half Past Jod.
That was a fantastic episode. Great conversation.
Great conversation. Look at this. Questions of the week.
Gosh, gotta stop with that. That is piercing to people's ears, including my own. I don't even hear it, but I know it's there. And that, okay. Great conversation. Love everybody. Have a great Monday and Memorial Day.